Come to Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence for retirees looking for an ideal rental setting to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We offer bright 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, wellness and entertainment programs, all with a friendly community spirit on beautiful grounds. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel, the 100th anniversary of the apparitions at Fatima, part 2 of our July Catholic Communications pilgrimage.
I'm David Martin. I'll have the story of the 10th anniversary of Our Lady Child Care Center in East Hampton.
And Dan Dumas takes a look at what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel on this Columbus Day weekend. This year we have been marking the centennial of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal. Between mid-May and mid-October 1917, in the midst of World War I, Mary appeared 6 times to 3 poor shepherd children. This coming week, the centennial will culminate with the marking of her final appearance and the great event called the Dancing Sun. In July, our Catholic Communications pilgrimage paid a visit to Fatima. Today, in part 2 of our series of reports on that pilgrimage, our chief videographer, Bill Pecosha, joined Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky and Father Gary Daly, director of the Newman Center at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, as they led pilgrims to the spot in Fatima, Portugal, where those 3 shepherd children were witnesses to the miraculous apparitions of the Virgin Mary 100 years ago.
We are on pilgrimage. Join us as we visit the sacred sites and the beautiful vistas and landscapes of Portugal, Spain, and France. Our journey will take us through Lisbon and up the Iberian Peninsula to Fatima, where we will join in the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the apparitions. Traveling north up the coast to Santiago de Compostela to experience the sights and the sounds surrounding the Feast of St. James. We make our way across the top of Spain to Burgos and Loyola as we make our final stop at Lourdes. Travel with Bishop Rosansky and participate in the many graceful events of this magnificent pilgrimage. After a 76-mile journey from Lisbon, we arrive in the beautiful city of Fatima, which is a small, quaint city with a population of around 10,000. Only about 1,000 feet above sea level, Fatima has beautiful landscapes with many olive trees and magnificent vistas. But its most notable and precious attribute is the shrine of Our Lady of Fatima. This evening, after settling into our hotel and enjoy dinner, we have the opportunity to walk just 2 blocks to the Fatima Shrine. At sunset, we enjoy the beauty of the grounds and the magnificent basilica with the colonnades stretching out like arms, reaching out to embrace us. We prepare this evening to pray the rosary with thousands of other people from around the world. We gather together at the Apparition Chapel, the actual spot where Our Lady appeared to the shepherd children. As our pilgrims gather in the square for this evening's festivities, they are struck by the fact that people of all ages and from countries throughout the world have gathered to pray together the Rosary. There's a peace-filled atmosphere where total strangers are united with Jesus and Mary. To everyone's surprise, this evening we find our very own Bishop Rosansky as the principal celebrant for the Rosary and Eucharistic procession. Our pilgrims are elated and filled with pride as they mention to others that it is their bishop who is leading the prayer tonight. Let us briefly take part in the procession. The beautiful music, and the vast crowd of people. What What does it mean for you to be at this holy site today as we stand here?
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because last evening I was able to vest with the priests, the bishops, and other deacons, and you could just feel the holiness, the presence of all these people, and the presence of the Blessed Mother here. It's an experience you can't even explain. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I said that last night when I left here. So I could come back every year if I could.
On day 4 of our pilgrimage, we begin with Mass at the Angel of Peace Chapel in the Shrine of Our Lady of Fatima. The central meaning of the message of Fatima is really no different from what the Church has always taught. It's the message that prayer is the path for the salvation of souls, and it summons us to penance and conversion. Following the Mass, we begin our tour of the Shrine of the Apparition. It is here where popes have prayed. And in fact, Pope St. John Paul II, after having recovered from the assassination attempt on his life on May 13, 1981, the feast of Our Lady of Fatima, he returned here to this very spot to place the bullet that entered his body into the crown of Our Lady, where it remains as a reminder to the whole world of the evils that exist, but how our Mother protects her own. For John Paul II credited Our Lady that day for saving his life. Right next to the Chapel of the Apparition is a tree, a large tree that has existed for over 100 years and was there when Our Lady appeared. We then toured the Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary. The basilica consists of a tall, centralized bell tower and nave, approximately 213 feet in height and decorated by a crown of bronze weighing 15,000 pounds, surmounted by an illuminated cross. The carillon consists of 62 bells, and the statue of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in the niche of the spire is 15.5 feet tall and weighs 14 tons. Many of the events of the Marian apparitions at Fatima are depicted in the stained glass windows in the basilica, while 15 altars within the church are dedicated to the 15 mysteries of the Rosary. Inside the basilica are the remains and tombs of the 2 shepherd children, Saint Francisco and his sister Saint Jacinta, canonized in Fatima by Pope Francis on May 13th of this year, 2017. Also, their cousin Lucia, proclaimed a servant of God on February 13th of this year, and her process toward beatification is progressing. We're now standing in the new church at Our Lady of Fatima Shrine. This church was built in 2007, and it seats 8,000 people. This church is used for services, but primarily in times of inclement weather when they can come in here and to celebrate Mass and prayer and the Rosary. We board the bus and travel a short distance to the hamlet of Aljustrel, where we tour the childhood homes of Francisco and Jacinta Marto. It was here that Our Lady appeared 4 times, 3 times to Jacinta and once to her and Francisco. As we enter the home of the 2 shepherd children siblings, we see the bedrooms of the 2 shepherds. It was in the little room that Francisco died on April 4th, 1919, at the age of 10. Jacinta died a year later at the age of 9 in 1920. We then go to the home of Sister Lucia dos Santo, the last living seer of Fatima. She was born here, the last child in a family of 7, on March 22nd, 1907. It was in this house that the first interrogations of the shepherd children took place. Just down the path from Lucia's home is the well where the angel guardian of Portugal spoke to the children for the 2nd time. The angel said to them, "Pray, pray very much. The holy hearts of Jesus and Mary have designs of mercy on you. Offer prayers and sacrifices constantly to the Most High." Tonight, we gather again for the celebration of the procession of Our Lady of Fatima through the piazza here again, and singing joyful songs and celebrating the great gift that Our Lady has been to us. Our final night in Fatima is for many on the pilgrimage the moment that has been anticipated, participating in the rosary and candlelight procession to the square of Fatima. The crowd is noticeably larger, as well as the number of priests from around the world. To hear the rosary spoke in various languages, yet prayed by everyone, is truly the outward sign of the universality of our church. How awesome is it to be in this procession with so many people from all over the world processing with Our Lady. It's awesome. The procession is amazing as Our Lady is carried through the square.
There's not words to describe how beautiful it was tonight. When Mary walks by, everybody's sharing the lights with each other, everybody's talking to each other. And last night it was great because we met a couple from Belgium and we told them our bishop was on the altar. They thought that was so cool. We made friends right away. The people just get imbued with faith and love, and it's just wonderful to see.
Is there anything in particular that you think you'll take back home from the experience that you've had here today?
Thus far, actually something you said when you gave a homily when we were at the Church of the Miracle of the Eucharist. You were talking about the miracle of the Eucharist and how impressive that was. And while that was really impressive, that same miracle happens every day. And we can all access that miracle every day if we want to. And I never really thought of it that way, but that's, I think, something that's going to stay with me forever. So thank you.
You're welcome. Join us next week as we look more closely at the story of Fatima and the message that Our Lady gives to the world as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the apparitions at Fatima, Portugal.
Sounds like this experience in Fatima was very inspirational, and we look forward to more on the pilgrimage next week. Also coming up this week, Our Lady of Fatima Parish in Ludlow will be hosting several events highlighting the messages of Fatima. This Monday, October 7th at 7 p.m. in the church, XLT for Teens will be held with music, prayer, adoration, and speakers focusing on Fatima and also prayers to fight all addictions. This Thursday, October 12th at 7 p.m. at the Upper Shrine, there will be a Mass in Portuguese with adoration of the Eucharist being held until the following day at 5 p.m. And then on Friday, October 13th, also at the Upper Shrine, a final farewell to the 100th anniversary year will begin at 5 p.m. with Rosary, followed by a blessing of the sick at 5:30, and culminating with a 7 p.m. Mass and candlelight procession with Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky. All are welcome to attend. And still to come on Reel to Reel, Dan Dumas has news from around the Diocese of Springfield, and Our Lady's Child Care Center in East Hampton celebrates a decade of serving the needs of families with children in the community. These stories and more are still to come on Reel to Reel.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passion's Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy days and join us Sunday morning at 10. We welcome Father Gary Daly as our Mass presider and celebrate the 27th Sunday of Ordinary Time. The Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10, right here on WWLP 22 News.
Come to Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence for retirees looking for an ideal rental setting to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We offer bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, wellness and entertainment programs, all with a friendly community spirit on beautiful grounds. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
The annual Catholic Appeal, One Family, Many Gifts.
I'm Will Lucardi. My Catholic education has given me more than just the basics. It's about high academic standards while developing a deeper faith and a stronger character. My future is brighter thanks to my Catholic education.
The annual Catholic Appeal, One Family, Many Gifts. Please give generously in your parish or visit diospringfield.org.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news briefs. More than 200 people attended the 16th annual Red Mass, a long-standing tradition in the Catholic Church, usually held at the opening of court term to honor those who worked in the legal profession. This year's event in the Springfield Diocese, sponsored by the local St. Thomas More Society, took place last Sunday. 6 new members of the society were awarded the prestigious St. Thomas More Medal. David Martin reports.
The annual Red Mass, held at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield, celebrated the 2017 honorees receiving St. Thomas More medals. They included Officer Gary A. Bianchi of Pittsfield, Sister of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin, Claire LaPointe of Chicopee, and Officer Thaddeus Palakowski, a parishioner at Holy Name of Jesus Parish in South Deerfield.
We do associate God with the judiciary, and God we trust. God is everywhere in our society, and God is everywhere in the courts, and we have to have a faith to follow in order to be judicious in the right way.
Attorney John F. Moriarty, Jr., a native of Holyoke, who now resides in West Springfield, was also among the honorees, followed by Attorney Marshall Moriarty of Wilbraham, and finally Sister of St. Joseph Joyce Wise, a native of Springfield.
I want to congratulate them. They're well-deserving, and I also, again, want to accept this on behalf of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Springfield, who have touched so very many lives.
Chief Celebrant Springfield Bishop Mitchell T. Rosansky said as they honor these new members of the St. Thomas More Society, it is important to give thanks they have responded to the call to bring justice and mercy into the world.
So to gather with the judges, the lawyers, the jurists, those who are in law enforcement, who are called to live justice and mercy every day. It's a privilege to gather with them and to invoke the memory of St. Thomas More and the Holy Spirit upon them.
The Red Mass had its origin in Europe during the 13th century and was first celebrated in the United States in 1928. Since the celebrant for the Mass traditionally wore red robes, it became known as the Red Mass. In Springfield, I'm David Martin.
In other news, it was a Mass for those diagnosed with cancer, their family, friends, and caregivers, and anyone who has lost someone to the disease. Traditionally known as the Pink Mass, this event offered comfort and prayers for healing. The newest member of our Reel to Reel reporting staff, Greg Thompson, has the story.
A celebration of hope. That was the theme of the 7th annual Pink Mass held at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield. It was also the name of the Mass's sponsor. The message was for anyone affected by cancer.
We cover all cancers, and that's our goal, from pediatric to geriatric. My mom passed at the age of 56 with lung cancer. I have many friends who have been diagnosed with cancer, and I had a bout of it personally.
Springfield's Bishop Mitchell Rosansky celebrated the Mass in memory of longtime St. Michael's Academy music teacher Michael Rancitelli, who died of cancer in January.
Michael had such a joy of life and a joy for life, and he shared that through the beauty of his music.
We're very honored because in 2011 we wrote the song Hope is Our Light, and Michael performed it here.
According to Cancer Treatment Centers of America, 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer during their lifetimes. The good news is, according to an American Cancer Society report, that the cancer death rate has decreased by 20% since 1991.
All of us have family and friends who have gone through the challenge of cancer.
We do events all during the year, and at the end of the year what we do is we give back to 5 local cancer charities.
In Springfield, I'm Greg Thompson.
Finally, more than 80 people gathered at a parish hall in Northampton to watch a compelling film telling a story that is now a century old, but no less relevant to modern times. The story of Fatima. Carolee McGrath reports.
It was movie night at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish Hall, but you could hear a pin drop at the end of the film, The 13th Day.
It's a powerful and emotional film by Ian and Dominic Higgins that tells the story of the 3 young children visited by the Blessed Mother in Fatima, Portugal in 1917. The children were visited by the Virgin Mary on the 13th day of the month, from May through October. The film shows how some did not believe the children and how they were even put in jail and threatened by a government official. The Children of Mary, a prayer group at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish, organized the event to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the apparitions.
In 1917, she came to tell the people that there would be an end to World War I and peace would come into the world. But then she said, if people did not stop offending my son, that a greater punishment was going to come, another war, and that would be more suffering, more persecution. But then she also said that error would spread from Russia throughout the world, causing wars, famines, and persecutions of the church.
The Blessed Mother told the children to pray the rosary for peace and told them to offer up their suffering for the conversion of souls. Father Ryan Sleva, the parochial vicar at St. Mary Parish in Westfield, gave a talk after the movie.
It's nothing very complicated. I think a lot of people don't know about Fatima very much, but it's simple. It's a return to the basic things of our Catholic faith: prayer for others, and simply being faithful to the gospel.
Several other events are planned throughout the diocese to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the apparitions. The Children of Mary will also host the annual Eucharistic Rosary Procession in Northampton. St. Mary's in Hamden, where there's a shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Fatima, is hosting events through October.
The more people that know about the message of Fatima, the more people that understand what she is asking us to do, the more people that can dedicate themselves to Our Lady, consecrate themselves to Our Lady, the further along we're going to get towards her ultimate plan, her ultimate promise, which is, in the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph.
And it's a message still so important 100 years later, as Catholics pray for the Blessed Mother to lead people to her Son. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
Remember, you can always stay informed on all the latest news in the Catholic Church locally and beyond by logging on to iobserve.org. There you can read articles written by our Catholic communications staff, as well as view archived episodes of Reel to Reel. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Reel to Reel news briefs.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Joining me now is Gina Cherwinski, Director of Catechetics and Youth Formation here in the Springfield Diocese, to tell us about an upcoming event that all folks involved with religious education in the diocese will want to attend. Hi Gina, thanks for being with us today.
Hi Sharon, thanks for having me.
So coming up a month from today, you will be hosting the 2017 Catechetical Congress at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament in Westfield. That's on Saturday, November 4th. And the theme is family. Tell us more about this special event and your 2 keynote speakers.
It's a day for anyone who's involved in the catechetical ministry to come and to learn more and to be invigorated and enthused about their ministries. The 2 keynote speakers, we have Dr. Timothy Hogan, who's going to speak specifically about family life today and how our parishes and our staffs and our catechetical leaders can be more able to reach out to them and serve them in new and varied ways. And then we have Mr. Mike Patan, who is well known in the youth ministry circuit for his work with young people and adults. He is an itinerant minister, but used to work as the youth and young adult director for the office in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Sounds perfect for everyone who's involved in educating young people and adults. And we have registration information on iObserve for those who are interested. Now, Dr. Hogan will also be featured at 2 other events leading up to the Congress, right?
Yes, he's going to be with our parish staffs on November 2nd for an afternoon event. And then on Friday the 3rd, he's going to do a special event at 7 p.m. in the evening for those who do the pre-Cana ministry in our diocese.
Okay, and folks who are interested in those should contact their parishes for more information or call the diocesan main number at 413-732-3175. All right, Gina Cherwinski, I'm sure many in the area will be looking forward to next month and hearing the guest speakers and just getting together with others who are involved in the catechetical mission. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, it's been my pleasure.
And if you would like more information again on the Catechetical Congress, we have a link at iobserve.org. The Our Lady Child Care Center was established a decade ago at the former Immaculate Conception Notre Dame School in East Hampton. It's been serving children and families in the community ever since, and recently the center celebrated its 10th anniversary. David Martin tells us more.
Hop down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home.
Staff members, students, parents, and friends commemorated the 10th anniversary of Our Lady's Child Care Center with a celebration picnic at the center's Franklin Street campus and pavilion. Director and founder Perry Taylor said the Child Care Center has become her whole life.
It's a little tough today because of the people that started it with me have both passed away. You know, Father Tom and Sue Plord. So it's a little emotional, but I'm very proud, you know, and it's a great center. I have absolutely wonderful staff.
Cassandra Torrey, a group leader, began at the Child Care Center when she was 16 and has been there nearly 8 years. She said being a teacher's aide is much more enjoyable than sitting in an office doing paperwork.
You get to run around and play and teach them at the same time, and it's always really nice when you know that they've learned something from what you taught them. So it's very rewarding.
Taylor said in addition to the preschool operation, she started a before and after school program when the East Hampton Public Schools approached her saying many grade school kids have nowhere else to go during these times of day. 6-year-old Talia Morales Rodriguez is part of the program and enjoys her time at the center coloring and building Legos.
It means we have some fun together and we be nice to our friends.
Tori said the Child Care Center has tremendously grown and improved over time. In 2009, the center had 2 preschool classrooms in operation with 22 students and 3 teachers. An infant-toddler care building was built to provide care for the younger members of the preschool group. There have been a lot of changes to Our Lady's Child Care Center over the past 10 years, but what has remained constant is the feeling of community among staff members who say they're all part of one big family. Jamie Joaquin, Assistant Director of Our Lady's Child Care, said the staff at the center work well together as a team. Joaquin started as a teacher 2.5 years ago. Now her position requires further education.
And Perry has really pushed me to move forward in my career because she knows that I can do it. So she has been a really positive influence on me for that. And that's why I went back to school, was because of her.
By 2012, the 5th anniversary of Our Lady's Child Care Center, it offered care to 96 children and employed 16 to 20 teachers and aides. One of them is Nikki Beebe, the preschool lead teacher. Beebe said the teachers offer compassionate care to the children, meeting their needs as a group or individuals. She feels the Child Care Center is a great benefit to the parish because they teach the children that they are part of the church and incorporate faith into the day-to-day program. Beebe is proud of the positive influence she has on young minds.
Yeah, it feels great to see all the children, and I still see them who've been in my classroom because they come for before and after school, and just knowing that I was part of their life feels great.
Here we go! Riding on that new river train. Woo, woo! Hey, there's your whistle. Let's try it together. Ready? Riding on that new river train. Woo, woo!
In 2017, Our Lady's Child Care Center offers care to nearly 120 kids and employs 25 teachers who all look forward to 10 more years better serving children and their families in East Hampton. For Reel to Reel, I'm David Martin.
Congratulations to everyone at the center in celebrating 10 years. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thanks so much for joining us today. For updates anytime, you can find information and news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, on our news and information site, iobserve.org. And also be sure to friend us on Facebook, where you will be able to travel with our reporters as they work on stories for Reel to Reel and get the latest news on the Catholic Church. Like us at Catholic Communications. I will be back at this same time next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.